Jade, Mira.
Okay, we can start.
Good afternoon, good evening, Zimbabweans, and I think it's also good morning in some areas. Thank you so much for joining us. Please, those who have just joined, do share this video with as many people as possible. We have a topical issue here to discuss, and I know that a lot of people have been discussing this on various platforms, and Change Radio has been publicizing the issue on our headline everywhere, in our news, on our social media pages, on our YouTube, on our WhatsApp channel. And personally, I've also spoken on various platforms, on ZimI, on VOA, on Coma Denford's page, giving my thoughts, giving my views on what I think about the ongoing situation in Zimbabwe. And of course, today or tonight, I also have two of my colleagues that have different views. You might want to know that for the first time, before we do a program, in our pre-program discussion, where we usually agree on what we are going to discuss, for the first time on this one, we could not agree on the views that we are airing, which means it's actually going to be a very entertaining, a very exciting program, because my two other fellow panelists have different views to mine. And I also want to believe that every Zimbabwean at this moment has a view on what is going on in Zimbabwe. And we are going to open up the phone lines and the channels so that those who want to come in and air their views will come in and air their views. But generally, we want to do what Change Radio always does: educate people, give people information so that we can make informed choices. What is the role of the citizen in all this, in the Geza issue, in the Mnangagwa constitutional issue? What are the citizens supposed to do? And I know a lot of people have also been asking. I was actually asked that question on VOA yesterday, that why is the opposition quiet? So those are interesting questions that we should answer together with the citizens, because when I answered that question on VOA, I just said the opposition is the citizens. We are the opposition, and we have been speaking. We have not been quiet. So there we are, Zimbabweans. Let's discuss this. But let me allow my excuse me. Let me allow my fellow panelists to come in and make their initial remarks.
Yeah, yebo, lingabe litshona njani, lavuka njani mthwakazi omuhle. Yeah, siyahlangana lamhlanje kule ndaba echisayo lapha, indaba esegudwini. Kodwa ngingakaqalisi ukuthi ngilibingelele, ngifuna ukuthi ngigcizelele okukhulunywe nguChief Shoshe ukuthi for the first time in history uhlelo lelo ngibona ngazani luza bamnandi kakhulu, ngoba sithe singemuva ngale ngasese besisehluleka ukuthi sizwanani ukuthi khona sizakhuluma kumbe simele sikhulume ngelanguage eyi-one kumbe sizwanane sivumelane, kodwa ukhanya besingavumelani, okuyinto healthy. Chief, it's very healthy to have different opinions, like always President Nelson Chamisa always said ukuthi we should accept people with different opinions. We should not always have one opinion. Lingabe litshona njani njengoba ngingalibingelela emagumbini amane omhlaba namhlanje sifuna ukuthi lathi sizwe from lina ukuthi licabangani indaba ezenzakalayo. Sizwa indaba le kaGeza, thathi Geza moment ekhona le ukuthi likuthatha njani, libone ngazani kumele kwenziwe njani, liyakusekela na kumbe kalikusekeli, nxa likusekela kungani likusekela, nxa lingakusekeli njalo kungani lingakusekeli. Kodwa lapha namhla sibuye ukuthi sizohlaziya indaba leyi sikhangela icele ele opposition ukuthi thina njengabantu abahlezi bephikisa umbuso wezanu, njengabantu abahlezi bephikisa umnankagwa sithini ngodaba lolu olukagezi. Yebo siyakwazi ukuthi into ekhulunywa nguGezi labanye bakhe ama-war veterans asonto entsha, yinto esivele sasiyikhuluma ngaphambilini kusukisela siphuma kuma-elections ka-2023 azizange sithule izinto esasizikhuluma. Izinto lezi abazikhulumayo izinto esasizikhuluma lathi. So ngifuna ukuthi nginike omunye wami isikhathi sokuthi alibingelele andubana endabeni. Over to you, Comrade Stella.
Thank you so much, Champion Barbara. Maybe Chief vataura nechirungu imi mataura nendebele saka ndakutaurawo neshona. Mangwanani, masikati, manheru akanaka mhuri yeZimbabwe, zvichienderana nekuti muri kutiona muri kupi. Tine program yedu paChange Radio yatinoda kuti titaure nevana veZimbabwe kuti tionesane situation yatakatarisana nayo, kuti uku kuna ED ari kutaura zve2030 agenda, kotiwo kusaidi uku kuna Geza ari kuti hakuna zvakadaro. Saka isisu sema-citizens, we are finding ourselves caught up between the two sides. Asi tanga tichida kuti tionesane kuti role yedu isusu yatiri kufanira kuplaya sema-citizens, kuti tisazowanikwa tiri ngori matichu anoshandiswa achizokandwa achiraswa. Role yedu yatinofanira kuplaya ndeyei. Saka tiri live paTikTok, tiri live YouTube yaChange Radio, tiri live paFacebook, uyezve tiri live paX. Kune vanenge vachida kujoina conversation kuti vataure kana pari paTikTok munongorequesta. Kune mamwe maplatforms tichakutumirai link yamunokwanisa kuti mujoine tinzwewo mafungiro enyu. Asi tichambotanga tambopa maonero edu tiri 3 sekutaurwa kwazvaita. Tiri kuzwana tichitadza kuwirirana, tine maopinions akasiyana, saka muchanzwa mafungiro edu tozonzwawo techida kuzonzwawo mafungiro enyu. So ndingangodzodza kwamuri Chief kuti mupe maonero enyu imimi.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Please let's share this video with as many people as possible so that we can all gather as Zimbabweans. I know we are live on TikTok, we are live on YouTube, we are live on Facebook, and we are also on our WhatsApp channels. But yes, to get straight into the issue here, we all know what is happening in Zimbabwe. Geza and the war veterans started speaking out immediately after Vice President Chiwenga had addressed people, Zimbabweans, at the Heroes Acre, where he attacked people that are looting, and he labeled unknown, unmentioned people Gananda. And after that, we saw Geza and many other war veterans coming out attacking the people that had been initially attacked by Vice President Chiwenga. And on many platforms that I've been to, I've been saying almost the same thing, and I remain consistent on that, that as citizens, as members of the Democratic Alternative, we welcome what Geza and Kamban are doing. We welcome what Chiwenga has done. We welcome, and also we are happy in a way that for the first time, they are echoing the sentiments that we have always echoed. They are saying the things that the Democratic Alternative in Zimbabwe has always said, that our country is on the doldrums. People in Zimbabwe are suffering not because of economic sanctions, as we're made to believe by ZANU-PF. We have always maintained that Zimbabwe is where it is today because of the massive looting, because of the massive corruption that we see across the board in Zimbabwe. Corruption levels that have seen people like Wicknell buying, you know, 3 jet airlines, aeroplanes for himself. And we also hear that he also bought 2 others for ED's sons. And all the cars that he has been donating, running into millions of dollars, that has never happened before. That's unprecedented. People are wondering, where is all that money coming from? How can one person become richer than the country itself? So that's what the war veterans are asking, are questioning. And I'm telling you, the citizens have been asking these very same questions for the past 2 decades. We have had demonstrations in Washington, D.C. People have demonstrated in the streets of London. People have demonstrated in South Africa, in the streets of Johannesburg, in the streets of Cape Town. People have demonstrated in Zambia, in Zimbabwe, and opposition leaders or members of the Democratic Alternative have tabled the issue of corruption at every point, including in Parliament, when Parliament was still Parliament. And we have never been quiet. That's why even when people say the opposition is quiet, I say we are not quiet, because we have never been quiet. We've always raised these issues that Geza and Kamban are raising now. So it's a good thing that they are now agreeing with us. It is them that are agreeing with us. It is an agenda that we have pushed from time immemorial, and it is an agenda that they've decided to join. So we welcome them to the real struggle, because that's the real struggle. And now, going forward, we have to dissect, we have to come up with a solution on what the citizens should do, what everyone else should do. We are not here to dictate to anyone. What we are speaking here, what Barbara will be saying, are her thoughts, but we are not saying that's the solution. What Estella is going to say are her thoughts, and what other people that are going to be invited to come up here are their thoughts. But my thoughts, my initial thoughts on this issue are that we are the citizens, and we have always raised the issues that the war veterans are raising. I hand over to Barbara so that we can discuss that part before we go to juicy part. What should the citizen do?
You're on mute, Champion Barbara.
Oh, ngiyabonga kakhulu Chief Soswe. Njengoba sike sakhuluma mthwakazi omuhle ukuthi indaba namhla esingayo ukuthi sikhulume nini, sixoxisana nini ngezenzakalo ezenzakalayo kuZANU PF. Ngiyethemba sonke siyakwazi ukuthi into kazimanga kuhle kuZANU PF, into zimi manzonzo. Kulokuchikachilana, kulokukhuluma okunzima okubangelwe ludaba lika 2030 lapho uMnangagwa wayethuma abantu bakhe ukuthi obviously nguye wayebathuma ukuthi bakhulume ngokuthi 2030 uyabe lokhu esakhona, yona iterm yakhe iphela ngo-2028. So lokho sokubangele veterans ukuthi khona akhulume ngendaba ukuthi uMnangagwa usebulele ilizwe, ukuthi kule ndaba yobugwelegwele, i-corruption, kule ndaba yokuthi izibhedlela kazilamithi, kule ndaba yezikolo. Into ejabulisayo kumbe ngathi into emangalisayo chief ukuthi abantu laba sebekhuluma ngokuthi uMnangagwa akaso president. Into sasikhuluma thina after ama-elections ka-2023 up to today mina ngaze ngimbize president Mnangagwa because ngiyakwazi ukuthi kaso president waxilibezela ama-elections akhondemwa yiSADC ukuthi khona ebengasoma elections. Ama-elections lawa kwakumele kuphindwe ama-elections kumbe kufonywe i-government ye-national unity kusenzwa ama-reforms because iSADC yakhuluma izinto eziningi ezazingayenzakalanga ngesikhathi sama-elections. Ngakho sebekhuluma ukuthi khona uMnangagwa kawinanga, uChamisa kadliwanga, kuthiwa khona kwakungela ama-elections. So into echazayo kakhulu chief, that's the most interesting part about what these war veterans are saying. They are saying that the elections were flawed. No one won, no one lost. So it's just as good as Mnangagwa is not a president. And this is coming from the war veterans themselves. How interesting is this? This is going to be interesting. And we also see Mnangagwa holding a presser saying that he's not going to go over 2028 because his term is ending in 2028. And then the war veterans are represented by Geza. They are also saying they held a presser to say, we are not talking about 2030, we are talking about 2028 itself. Kuti haazo kuzosvika kuna 2028 anenge achiitei kuna 2028 because haana kuhwina my-elections. So things are now very, very interesting. And chief, like inini angu, what my opinion is to say, we have been saying all these things, there's nothing new. So it's good that themselves, they've seen that they've failed the country, they've failed to run this country, they've failed the citizens. The war veterans also, they apologized to the nation, chief. They actually apologized wakakumbira uregerero kuti aiwa takatadza zvatakaita 2017 pane vanhu vakaita makaro havana kuzoita zvatakabvumirana because inini 2017 mina 2017 ngamacha mina chief, I was there in Harare, and we are so disappointed, we were eager that the country is now moving forward. But what they did, saying chino chedu after people had marched, that's what made some of us very, very angry with the ZANU PF. Now what's going to happen is they are still pushing for Mnangagwa to go, and they're still going to do the same thing like they did in 2017. They are going to ask him to resign, just like what they did with Robert Mugabe. And I think the difference now, chief, is that last 2017 it was the all veterans who started all this, and they were backed by the army. Now it's also the war veterans. The major difference is that the war veterans are now saying that this thing must be owned by the people. they are saying that we have to sit down, we have to include all stakeholders, we don't want any political parties because hanzi political party ndo auraya nyika. They're even saying that we want something that is all inclusive, which is something very positive, Chief. Even if we oppose, we also have got to oppose objectively. If they are saying what we've been saying, why not sail with them, but at the same time conscientize the citizens that they must own this thing wholly everywhere. Pane vanhu lapho esikhona asikhulume nini umbono wethu inonzi kuti sei kucheya nyaya iyi tichiudzana kuti what do we think, kuti what the Zimbabwe that we want. We should be able to write a story about the Zimbabwe that we are looking forward to. And I think in as much as it's ZANU-PF that is saying that there it's internal wars, yes, and I'm very happy that they've seen
and network issues.
I'm Sponinzwa. Can you hear me, Estelle?
Oh, dear.
Hello? Can you hear me?
On TikTok. All right, yeah, you're back. You can continue.
But was I audible?
I can hear you.
Okay, was I audible all along?
Just for a moment. You were. Just for a moment, you went out. But I think everything you said we heard.
Okay. So I was just about to round up and say the citizens must own this process, just like what the war veterans say. They must not look maybe wait for the war veterans to do everything for them. We should actually take over as citizens, because that's what they are saying. They are saying this is the citizens' issue. So the citizens will take charge. They should take charge. They should speak out. They should say what exactly they want to see. And it's good because these people are also saying, Kutanzi, we're supposed to have my reforms, which we all want. We want reforms so that we can hold credible elections, free and fair elections. And they're also saying, Kanataita my elections are free and fair, a winner. They're not talking about anything which they are going to hand over power to ZANU-PF. I think the starting point will be my elections. Zvasiyana nezvaMugabe. Izvi tine pekutangira, because we were supposed to do rerun yema elections, or we're supposed to form a government, a transitional government where we would fix all the reforms, and then we go back to my elections to fix some reforms. So that's exactly what these war veterans are saying, and I do support them 100%, because this is what we've been saying.
Thank you, Champion Barbara. Inina Angu, where I'm standing is, I think what the war veterans are saying sounds good, but my problem is, I don't know that can we trust the war veterans, because all these things they are saying, everybody in Zimbabwe has known all these things since even the 2018 elections. And, I'm concerned, Kuti, war veterans, they are part of ZANU-PF. And ZANU-PF, in a culture yekunyepa, just recently, President we ZANU-PF ED akabuda achiti akaita press conference achitaura kuti haana ma-intentions ekuextenda kuenda kuna 2030, but ndazoseka pandaona kaclip kapostwa nhasi kaED, I don't know from when, achidaidza vanhu kuti munogona slogan here, vachiuya vachiita slogan yacho yaanga achiti unogona slogan here ndeyekuti 2030 ed 2030. So nhasi akubuda achiti handina agenda yekusvika muna 2030, I'm a constitutionalist, ndikapedza 2 terms dzangu, kuchaita a new leader anosarudzwa weZanu PF. But before iye ndiye aitopressurize vanhu kuti uri kugona here kuita iyo slogan yekuti 2030 vamunangagwa vanenge vachiripo. So I don't feel confident kuti regardless of what my war vets are saying, kuti will they keep their word after they get what they want. So I feel like isisu ma citizens takambotambwa nesu, as you pointed out, muna 2017, and the war veterans were complicit in that. So I don't think kuti, you know, it is wise kuti tivatava that optimistic tichivatati this time you know, they mean what they're saying, simply because varikutaura something a little bit different. Because tinovaziva vanhu vezanu vanotaura zvamurira kunzwa at that time, asi kana muchinge mavapa zvavari kuda, vanongotumira masoja mukaita navo, and then what happens? Vanhu vakatumirwa masoja, they retreat, vodzokera kudzimba dzavo, zvopera zvakadaro. Saka inini, much as I do agree with you kuti at least something is happening, that's a good thing. I feel like isisu as citizens tinofanira manje kuchangamukira this opportunity, tione kuti tavabatawo, you know, panonzi panoita sei, panorwadza here, kuti tidimande vaite certain things zvinotipa assurance kuti even kana vakazoti vabvisa ED havakwanisi kuzoita turnaround vongoti dampa sezvatakaitwa last time. Last time masoja vanhu vaipinda murodhi vachiti masoja vari kuencourage vanhu vakatobhiliva kuti masoja vaita sei, vamira nevanhu. But vapedza zvavanga vachida, vakatanga kurova vanhu after vapinza ED. Masoja ndo vakapinda mudzimba dzevanhu vachirova vanhu. So as citizens, I feel like we need to come together, tonyatsotaurirana, totsvaga kuti vanhu ava, they need us. If they didn't need us, they wouldn't be wasting time trying to convince us right now. Vangadai vakangoita zvavarida kuita, vakatopedza. But mavideos avari kuita ese wayaya ezvinezvi, kune chigroup chewhatsapp chandakaona chiri kutoedza kumobilize vanhu, kuprepare vanhu kupinda mustreet. So it's very clear kuti these guys, they need us in what they are trying to do. So that puts us, isisu ma citizens, in a position of power manje, because isisu tikaramba kupinda mustreet, ava vane zvavanoda kuita vachatadza kuzviita. So they need us to cooperate with them. But isisu ngatichiite sei, ngatichiisewo maconditions edu kuti aiwa hatingangopinda mustreet katozongoraswa setissue paper rashandiswa. Tine mademands edu ekuti we give you what you want, but imimi you also have to give us something that we want. But now we have to be very strategic about my demands edu atiri kuisa patable kuti tidemande zvinhu zvekuti zvikaitwa zvinotipa some sort of assurance yekuti even after tavabatsira kuita zvavari kuda, they can't just turn around and and dump us. So ndomaonero angu chief kuti yes, I know there is the argument yekuti tikasapinda isusu mustreet vakatadza kubvisa ED anogona kutoenderera ne2030 agenda yake and then yozoita like a monarchy yekuti muri wani ndo yakutongo-owner the country. But I feel like we can't just throw caution to the wind tongoti topinda mustreets tisina kumboisa any measures in place to ensure kuti havazotitamba yavakatitamba before. So I was thinking, even kana kuti total demand kuti alright tiri kuda transitional authority, and transitional authority momo toda kuti muve mananhingi handiti vati havasi kuda ma-political parties. Isusu inini hangu ndine wangu President Chamisa asina political party, asiri kuita politics right now, ngavamuise mu-transitional authority imomo. totovaudza kuti kana pasina izvozvo ngatigarei tinogara naye ED wacho, because they stand to lose and we stand to lose. But we can't just throw all our cards in the air tovasiyira ivo voita zvavanoda and they get away with what they want.
And on that note,
aiwa tinotofanira kutoisa mademands ari very strategic, and of course tokwanisawo kunzwa kune ma-viewers kuti what sort of demands people think we can put in place. Just a second, Champion Barbara. Ndambomute Ngirikin laptop yangu because yange yakuita echo when I speak, so let me unmute it, then I can hear you. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, and I was saying kuti on that note yekuti what urundinzwe. Can you hear me, Estella?
Yeah, go ahead, Barbara, we can hear you.
Yes, I was saying kuti on that note yekuti you were saying kuti you've got your candidate which is Nelson Chamisa. These people varikuziva, they know kuti they failed, and they know kuti the only person to deliver us into all this, out of this mess, is none other than Nelson Chamisa. That's a fact. Even if my groups are people have now started coming back to say taifunga kuti Chamisa akapusa, taifunga kuti anongotaura nezvekuti God is in it, but what's happening now, who thought kuti this could happen? It can only be God who is doing this. Now the same people that were castigating President Nelson Chamisa about the hashtag God is in it, they are speaking about the same God, saying kuti it can only be God who has done all this. And they also know kuti the only person who can deliver us out of this mess is none other than President Nelson Chamisa. That's why you're seeing kuti they are not talking about political parties, because they know President doesn't have a political party. I'm not saying kuti he's part of this thing, but it's like I'm just analyzing as an individual, as a sociologist, I'm giving my side of my story. Kuti, of course, ndiri sociologist, but handiziri vana gaba rinocheka vachifa vana mararike vanyepa. Yeah. So I'm just giving my perspective. I'm just giving my perspective as a sociologist. Kuti, they are seeing kuti, for us to go ahead, we need people like President Nelson Chamisa. And they also said kuti, they are going to take other people from the other political parties, but they were not going to represent their parties. They will be coming on individual capacity. So in me, I was thinking kuti, as citizens, let's pressurize to see what they are saying now. They should document, and the people, they should sign. All the people that they are identifying, they should also sign. And we, the citizens, we should remain with our copy, because what Comrade Geza was saying, and what the other one, Anonzanyo, Knox Chiwero, what they are saying, that's exactly what we need. There's no two ways about that, Estella. That's exactly what the people of Zimbabwe need. That transitional authority, whilst the reforms are being done, that's exactly what we want. So we cannot let that thing go. And we know, but we knew kuti ZANU-PF kuibvisa chaiko chaiko as opposition, it was going to be a non-starter, but we need to, at some point, we need to work with these people, especially those that are sound-minded. There are people in ZANU-PF vanoda zvedevelopment, vanoda vazhinji vachona vakutanga kutaura izvino. They are now seeing the light now, but no, vari kuvanga vachiitiswa, because only a few people are benefiting right now. Only a few people are benefiting. The rest of the people, even Warumzano Wachona, they are not benefiting. And all vets are also saying, no, we will let down the people. And even that song, if you listen to that song, Estella kana uinayo song iyo itsvage, toda kuti tiiplay, tiiterere, to analyze kuti it was the national anthem of yemasoja. Maybe uchifana kuigoogle upaste Estella nzira dzemasoja, I play that song. I know that a lot of my born free, my AMA 2000, they don't know exactly what was happening during the liberation struggle. This is what we are seeing now. It's a deviation from what the real struggle was all about. So they're now seeing kuti ndofunga vamwe vachona vari kumapfupa anambuya nehanda akuwahonda kuti saka muda kufa here zvinhu zvakadai, ndo zvatakaendera kuhondo here. Ndosaka ndiri kuti now vanhu vaimhora President Nelson Chamisa vachitaura nezvaMwari, now they are now seeing kuti it can only be God, the hand of God. They are seeing the hand of God in all this. Over to you, Chief.
Thank you, Barbara. Yeah, we continue to dissect this. We continue to discuss, and I'll also continue to give insights in line with what my colleagues have been saying. Estella said we need to support the war veterans. I think we are all in agreement on that we need to support them, because if we don't support them, it means, in a way, we are supporting the stay of ED. And what does the stay of ED, or the extension of term by ED, mean to the people of Zimbabwe? That's one role that we need to continue to play as Change Radio, and as citizens. We need to continue educating each other that an extension of term to 2030 by ED only means an extension of the suffering of the Zimbabwean people. It's an extension of the looting, the senseless looting that we are seeing every day. It's an extension of the mismanagement of the economy. It's an extension of the mismanagement of the resources of the country. Indeed, it's a perpetuation of the poverty that we see in Zimbabwe every day. That is what it means. Because right now, if we do not say that to the people of Zimbabwe, if we do not educate anasekuru vedu anambuya vedu vari kumaruzevha and all the people out there, it means we are allowing the ZANU-PF narrative that is being channeled to those people in the rural areas. That ED's extension, term of extension, means he wants to complete his projects. He wants to complete that bridge that he hasn't completed. He wants to complete that project that he promised you, or he wants to do those things that he promised you in 2017 that he hasn't managed to complete, or that he has not managed to deliver to the people of Zimbabwe. If there is no alternative voice, I'm telling you, the people will end up believing that. And if this issue ever comes to go to the referendum, because now we are hearing that they might not even do the referendum. If it ever comes to go to the referendum, some people will actually vote positively for ED because they would have been convinced by the only voices that they have heard that this is what the extension of term means. So let's not take things for granted and say everyone knows. No, 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 no. Everyone doesn't know. People consume information, and they have information that has been given to them, embedded in them. So at the end of the day, they make decisions. They make decisions to vote or not to vote, or to support or not to support, based on the information that they have. So we need to get the information out there as citizens and tell the people what 2030 really means, and what the people in ZANU-PF, or a section of the people in ZANU-PF, are saying is not true. And also the other reason why we need to support the war veterans, and this is very serious. People might not see it. What the war veterans have done, what Geza, Mdara Knox, and others have done, in the eyes of ED, I'm not saying legally, in the eyes of ED, is treasonous. And if you want to listen to ED's presser or press conference and his utterances, you know, ED is a very cunning man. He's a very dangerous person. And when he's speaking, you need to listen in between the lines. He has already alluded to the fact that these people are breaking the party constitution. They are speaking against the party regulations. They are talking about removing him from his from power illegally. You know, that is what that is what ED is insinuating. And I am telling you, you can use that against Chiwenga. You can use that against Geza. And I can tell you those people will be killed. Those people will have their heads cut off. That's where we will go. That's where we will end up if, as citizens, we do not make conscious decisions to support this part of the revolution. Because if ED comes out unscathed at this juncture where we are right now, if he comes out victorious, then even all of us, we are in deeper trouble than we are right now, because it means ED has won over the people that at the moment we are seeing as our saviors. And he will say, now the Mnangagwa dynasty has begun. Because all he's doing when he's saying, I'm a constitutionalist, I'm not going to seek another term. He's saying, in a way, I'm not going to seek another term. My son is going to do that term. My cousin is going to do that term. We know what he's waiting for. One of his sons, who is deputy minister, is not 40 yet, but he will definitely be 40 after 2030. So he can easily get him in. So let's be very careful, because there is going to be bloodshed in Zimbabwe if the people do not rise, if this Geza thing doesn't work out. And the good thing is, both Chiwenga, Geza, and others, they know that if they lose this battle, they are gone. Remember what happened after 2017. ED massacred the generals that helped him get into power. That's a fact. Most of the generals that were part of the 2017 coup are gone. They are dead. That's how dangerous this man is. So, for the sake of our country, for the sake of our very own survival, if we do not want this situation to worsen, to be worse, I mean, I wouldn't care much about what happens to the general or to the war veterans, because at one time they were part of all this, or they are still part of all this. To go to what Estella was saying, that we need to be careful as citizens, and we need to demand safeguards into what they are doing. We can't just trust their word. Just like we cannot trust ED's word when he's saying, I'm a constitutionalist, I'm not going to seek another term, I'm going to persuade the persuaders so that they don't persuade me to take up 2030. That is nonsense. You know, even if you just listen to that statement, it tells you that he is not ready to use the constitution of the country to stop these people. He's talking about persuading the persuaders. He doesn't need to persuade the persuaders, because the constitution of Zimbabwe is very clear. He shouldn't be going for another term by hook or by crook. He shouldn't be. And also, one other thing before I go to the other side is that if ED was very sincere, or was sincere about what he's saying, by now, don't you think you would have rebuked the people that are saying 2030, 2030? Because even after his presser, people are still saying 2030. He never rebuked any of them. He said he's going to persuade them. But how do you want to persuade someone who is standing up at a rally and saying the constitution is ours? We can take the constitution and tear it apart and write another one. That is what should be called treasonous. You cannot be talking loosely about that on a document as sacrosanct as our constitution. Nobody should be allowed to speak so loosely. But did you hear Emerson Mnangagwa saying anything about that? If he is a constitutionalist, you'll be rebuking that person who was saying we're going to tear apart the constitution and rewrite the constitution. But he didn't say anything about that. So that tells you volumes. That tells you that he is on course, according to the information that he is on course to extending his term. He wants it, and if he gets it, I am telling you, there is going to be bloodshed. Vanhu vachaurayiwa, especially Geza, Chiwenga, Knox, and others. And there's people of Zimbabwe who will not want that. Because when that happens, we know that even ourselves, like Barbara was saying, sometimes we have to be smart in this revolution. Sometimes we have to use some people that are within revolutionary parties for us to dismantle the revolutionary movements. And sometimes those opportunities come. They've come before. We have not used them. We have not grabbed them. But now we need to grab this one and go to what Estella was saying, that before we get in the streets, we need to make safeguards. We need to make certain demands. And I'm telling you, those war veterans are listening. I was speaking at on Zim where some of those war veterans were, and we were very clear. I also said the same things that I'm saying here, that the war veterans should not play with the people of Zimbabwe, that they should not repeat a 2017, that they should not use us the way they used us in 2017, that they should not abuse the people of Zimbabwe, get them on the streets, and then after everything is said and done, they declare that Chinu Chedu. We told them on that, and we told them that we are not going to tolerate that as citizens. And after that, we began to hear the other pressers that Geza and others were making. They were now reaching out to the citizens, softening to the citizens, realizing, obviously recognizing that they cannot do this without the citizens. They need the citizens. Even in 2017, they could not have done it without the citizens. Even then, back then, in the War of Liberation, we would not have won that war, would not have gotten the results that we got in 1979 coming into 1980 without the support of the masses. So we do have power, like Estella was saying. We do have power, and we hold the S's, and we need to make our demands, and we need to make them now so that we don't just get into any arrangement that has no strict demands as to what is going to happen, in terms of the transitional authority, its composition, who is going to be the head of it. I don't know about President Chamisa becoming the head of it. That is what we would want. That is what everyone would want. But do you think Chiwenga is going to agree to that? Do you think the soldiers are going to agree to that? I mean, that's a story for another day. But we want something that shows commitment on the part of the war veterans that they're not going to abuse the citizens. And eventually, everything else can be done. Everything else can be said and done. But what we need are reforms, proper reforms. We do not want to be parceled down a few positions or even some positions, and then at the end of the day, we let ZANU-PF get away without doing electoral reforms. We'll be back to where we were when we did the first unity government. Whatever arrangement is going to be made must make sure that the reforms are demanded, the reforms are implemented, so that at the end of life of the transitional authority, there are free, fair, and credible election, a winner. And I think that's what the war veterans have been saying, and I think that's what even if it is Chiwenga who is going to be there or who is going to be part of it, he should take that role and try to be the Mandela of Zimbabwe. I'm disappointed that I'm speaking to Chiwenga like that, but that's where we are
Me
right
too.
now. That's where we are
No,
right now. But
no,
if, huh?
no, I disagree. We are not even there.
Yeah, no,
The
that's fine.
power.
You come in with your ideas. That's you come in and say your ideas. That's why I said this program is going to be interesting. You come in and say what you think. I'm just saying what I think that the transitional authority. I don't know if there will be a transitional authority that will not have ZANU-PF. I don't know if that is practical,
No,
and
it's
I
not.
don't know if that is what those war veterans intend to do. But
No, it's
our
not.
my thinking, the demands that I would say we should have and we should make are that we have reforms. And once we have reforms, we can now have free, fair, and credible elections.
Let me
Estella,
let
you
me
can
say-
now come in.
let me before Estella comes in, Chief. Let me explain about this transitional authority. There
Mhm.
is no way we can have a transitional authority without ZANU-PF, because these are the people that will be doing the preparations of the election. So inini ndikuona as if this is very very possible. Why? Because they are bringing in the issue of the flawed elections. Ndopatiri kutangira ipapo, which is very very powerful, the issue of flawed elections. So what it means ndezvekuti tichimirira kuita ma-elections, maybe they will say kuti ezvinezvi tiri muna 2025, maybe the next election is 2028. So we have a transitional authority for 3 years, from 2025 to 2028, for 3 years. And then then that's where they will be doing my reforms, electoral reforms, my reforms, judiciary, my reforms, military, any ma-reforms angachititadzisa kuti tiite zvinhu, angachiita kuti state iwe captured. All those reforms, the especially my elections, but it's not the only one. We need my reforms akawanda kuti awe in place, so that if we go for elections, we will have my elections that are free and fair, no beating of people, no kumbujikidzwa kwevanhu, no zvevote buying, zvinenge zvese zvinhu zvinenge zvese zvinenge zvarongeka zvapachena. So inini ndiri kuona kuti transitional authority obviously inenge itori nezano and itori different stakeholders and so that will be there grouping together vachida kuumba a great Zimbabwe that will be free for everyone.
Stella, you can come in.
Okay. Yeah. Kana muri kuti hamusi kuzviona zvichiitika kuti ZANU ingaite a transitional authority isina ZANU mukati mayo. So what are the chances that they are actually going to reform and allow free and fair elections dzavanoziva kuti they are going to lose and be ousted through those free and fair elections? And it insist on being in the transitional authority, it is to protect their interests. So why would they then go and allow free and fair elections? The one yatsoziva kuti vakaruza kubvira 2008. So I think it's like we are disempowering ourselves as the citizens by allowing my concerns as ZANU-PF to come before our own concerns in this. Isusu tinofanira kuenda pa negotiating table tichi we have to pull on our side. Hatingati tiri kutsvaga isusu our demands that we want to table, but at the same time tiri kutarisa ma interests as ZANU-PF. Ma demands edu atiri kuita ndeyekuti varatidze kuti are they really committed now to what they are saying, because handiti matauriro avo vari kuzviita sekuti vanhu vakurealiza kuti no takaita mistakes, my elections anga asiri free and fair, muna 2017 takakutambai. If they are sincere, why would they still hold their own interests? Panyaya transitional authority, kuti ZANU-PF has to be in the transitional authority. I feel like, as a people, Takato ita hand over our fate in the hands of political players.
Saka, are you saying kuti ZANU-PF should not be in the transitional authority at all?
We are always waiting kuti vanhu politics vaite something, but right now hakuna any real opposition. So meaning that opposition iripo ndisu isusu ma citizens, and that's a good thing, because zviri kuitika izvi zvinofanira kutiudza kuti vanhu vaive vanonyatsoziva kuti ndisu tine simba, vanonyatsoziva kuti simba riri muvanhu. This is why they can't just go ahead and do their, whether it's a coup or whatever they want to do.
Estella, can you hear Barbara?
They need our approval. They need us to demonstrate our support kuti zvinhu zvavari kuita zvive recognized internationally. Saka isusu ndopatinofanira kuvabatirawo ipapo kuti tisapinde into this tichizviisa in a situation where afterwards they can always just come back on their word. Vanogona kunyora zvima documents voisa masignature tobvumirana. I mean, we are talking about vanhu vakabvisa ma MPs akasarudzwa muma elections, vakabvisa vachishandisa chabangu asina kana anombomuziva kuti authority yake yanga achishandisa yakatora kupi. They could do that vachiviolate a constitution. Constitution, they have no problem violating it in parliament. So kana ari madocuments atanyorerana vakasaina,
Estela.
can we really convince ourselves kuti iwayo madocuments they are going to honor those documents? Ivo vakatadza kuona constitution. We really need to grab those guys by the I don't know kuti tishandise language iri clean negati chi. We really need to make my demands ekuti, you know, one of the things chatinofanira kunge takadzidza nezvazvo zviri kuitika in the last 40 years, anochema anorespectwa. Mukatarisa zvinoita ZANU-PF, munhu akangotanga kuita noise vanoita sei, munomuona aenderwa anonzi nichivhayo, go and see Victor. Right now, tiri kurana ngerekeni change radio panapa TikTok. Many of you may have noticed the account yachivayo ichiuya pamaposts achiti if 5,000 is not too little, come to my inbox, this is my number. Many posts dzaari kuita. So what it needs kuti tirespectwe is to be loud and to stand our ground and demand what is rightfully ours. As long as we play down our own power as the people out of fear or whatever it is, those people will never respect us. All that will happen is that the brave ones who dare to stand up and speak out will either be silenced or they will be bribed. The only way out of our situation is for us right now, my citizens, not a political party, my citizens, tese ti simuke tivaratidze kuti we are watching them and we are not tolerating nonsense anymore. All this stuff can only continue if we allow it. And when I say allow, azvireve kuti unomira woti ndakupai permission to do this, but just not doing anything to let the other person know kuti, you know, I don't condone this is the same as allowing. Imba yangu chaiyo, I let thieves know that I don't allow them in because in the end ndakaisa jurawo, ndakaisa electrical wire pamusoro apa pagedhi paina security mukati muine imbwa. Asi ndikasiya gedhi rakavhurika pasina any security, ndatobvumira imbavha kuti dzipinde. So inini hangu I'm convinced kuti tikati ngatisapotei geza simply because that's what sounds good right now. Yeah, 5-10 years down the line, we'll find ourselves in this exact same position. Tichichema futi sezvatakaita pana Mugabe. Takatambwa nesu tikapinda mustreet tikasapota kubvisa Mugabe kuti ivo vaise ED, vaise munhu wavo. And so like now, we can't do the same thing. I think we need to make my demands.
Estela.
Something real, some real changes which cannot be undone even after visa ED. And so like I'm just putting it out there, my citizens, kuti every citizen you have a role to play in this. If izvozvi vanenge vachiteerera malive atiri kuita iwaya, because they, you know what, they want to know kuti my citizens muri papi, vanenge vachiti gauge, vachiti measure pavanoisa their content out. They have their people kuma WhatsApp groups, kuma spaces, kuma lives, kuona kuti vanhu vari kuita sei, vari kuti chii. Isisu tobva tati zii, then they know kuti nyangwe tikaita zvatiri kuda kuita, vanhu ivava they'll never do anything, vakato submita kare. So we need to show them kuti we are, you know, that time yekuvasiya vachiita zvanoda yakapfuura. taakudhimanda taakuda kuti zvinhu zvigadziriswe munyika, and we are not going to play along until they do something to convince us kuti they are not going to play us again as they did last time. And we need to show up kuma live in our numbers. Ndo zvinovavhundutsa izvozvo. If we show up kuma lives, kuma spaces, tichi express some opinions edu, you can come here ne ghost accounts, but make sure you are counted. Ndokuti vati respected. As long as we are keeping quiet and hoping, that's all we do. We hope they are going to do the right thing by us. They never will do the right thing by us. It's human nature, guys. Kubvira vana vadiki chaivo, kukanzi kuri kugoverwa masweets, mumwe mwana akasaenda kunononopuhwawo akagara uko achifunga kuti achaunzirwa, vanogoverana vana ava varipo iye agoshaya. So for everyone to be counted, you have to be at the table. It's important kuti ngatiregei kumirira kuti opposition ichaita sei. Isisu ma citizens ngatisimukei tiverengwe and make sure that our voice is heard. Make sure that our voice is respected. Vanoti respect is earned. If you allow people to push you around, they will do it. The only way that a person will respect you, especially a munanengari bully, the only way that a bully will respect you is if you let them know that you will not be bullied. If you allow yourself to be bullied, the bully will continue and the bullying will keep getting worse. Saga, what I'm suggesting is, my citizens, everyone, take it as your personal responsibility to think, what demands should we table? Ma demands ekuti anovasungirirawo mbira dzakondo. Zvekuti pavanobvisa ED, they cannot just turn around and continue with their own agenda. Vachiti dampa. I know there are some such demands. If we, give it time and we really try to think, we can come up with it. The problem is if we just think that there's nothing we can do, there's nothing we can demand that could change the situation. So kana paine vanenge vachida vanema ideas, what demands should we table? Feel free, pa TikTok, you can request and come live. Kuna mamma platforms, you can just, add a comment, say, I want to talk. Then we can see how to get you on. Otherwise, if you want to talk, you can come to TikTok. It's so much easier to get people to come up and talk to TikTok, because we don't need to send any special links or anything. So right now, panema matanks aonekwa mu cities, mu town. Vamwe vari kuti ndi atumira matanks iwayo. Vamwe vari kuspekulate kuti zvatotanga. So kana zvatanga, it means that we don't have much time, guys. We need to get our act together quickly. We need to outline our list of demands. And the papa live ndo patino ningirikina. We let them know. Kuti, we're not playing along if you're not going to give us due respect. By just, coming in our numbers, teaching and just letting our opinions be known. Toita come up with our list of demands. Kana vakuita zvavakaplana kuita, then we find a way to communicate our demands kuti hatisi kupinda muroad kusvikira ichi chaitwa. And even kana tikazopinda murodhi vakazotitamba but vanenge vaziva kuti zvinhu zvatochinja, hatisisiri vanhu vaya vavanoita zvavanoda navo. Handina user 16694, we don't want ZANU, we don't want anyone who worked with ZANU and anyone who worked with any opposition. User, I don't know, do you have enough viewers to come, followers to come up and say kuti murukudani, alright? Inini, I'm not shy to say kuti inini, the one person I know should be there is Nelson Chamisa, because in munhu wandinoziva asina kutengesa. Akasvika pakusiya politics rather than kutengesa. So user, I would be interested to hear kuti waunoziva iwewe waunofunga kuti ndiye ari legit, anonyatsomirira zvido zvevanhu ndiani. Ku X kuna Mary ati anzi, my sister, let's not be delusional because you cannot do anything with ZANU PF. Let's not joke, otherwise atife takapashika. Mary, alright. What about kana tikaita zvavari kuda ivo, topinda muroad wobvisa ED woisa munhu wavo weZANU, ndokuti tisvike here pacho patiri kuda pacho ipapo? Do you feel that's how we get to where we want to get? By continuing to allow them to exercise power over us as if isisu hatina simba sevanhu. Inini hangu, I feel like simba ndisu tinaro, but we just don't know it. And for that reason, we are being taken advantage of. Per YouTube, Fanny Masenga says, change is all we want. These people have failed us. Let them just vacate. I totally agree, my sister. It's about time. Rad Music says, you are right, my dear sister. Rad Music also says, I think this is where I belong. I really appreciate, understand, and support the motion. Thank you so much, Rad Music. I take it you're my brother. Alpha Mtunzi says, Izanu, my brother, I'm so sorry. I wish I understood Ndebele, but he says, Izanu yonke kaihle ipume ingasavunyelwa ukuba lekaza kweze politiki ezweni lase Zimbabwe. Yeah, for those who understand Ndebele, maybe you could translate what is our brother saying. Unfortunately, I don't speak Ndebele that well. Temba Maposa says, ED must go now. He's an evil man. Enough is enough. True, my brother. It's true. ED has done a lot. Like in the first 5 years of his term, he literally destroyed the country, brought it down to its knees. He has been the worst thing that has happened to Zimbabwe. But you know what I think? I think that if we work with the Chiwenga or Geza faction, and we hit the streets, and they remove ED, and they put another ZANU-PF person, then ZANU-PF just continues as they've always done. And nothing is going to change for us, for the people. In fact, I think things are only going to get worse because they're just going to continue with the looting and oppression of the citizens. And I feel like we stand a better chance at removing ZANU when ED is the one who is in power. Because ED, apana munhu asingazvizivi kuti ED has failed dismally. It's not a secret. Everybody knows kuti, yeah, even kuzanu kwacho, this is why we are having this factionalism. Because even vanhu vake vekuzanu vari kuzviona kuti, no, this man has failed. So it's much easier to face someone like him, for example, in an election, and then also ne-factionalism iri kuzanu already. So kupinda mu-election nezanu iri divided into Chiwenga and ED. And then at the same time, everybody, hapana munhu achiri kuda ED. Everybody is fed up. Kunze kwevari kuita sei vari kubenefita from the looting right now, a handful. Ndo vachiri kuda ED. So if we are to go into an election against a ZANU-PF led by ED, we stand a much better chance at removing it than tikavabatsira kubvisa ED right now kopinda mumwe munhu. Then we have the same situation yatakaita muna 2017 kuti ED apinda, everybody was hopeful that maybe achaita something different, maybe achareforma. So for a while the pressure was off ZANU-PF, and that gave ZANU-PF time to regroup and to recollect. Oh dear, ndaita call iri kupinda. Yes. So my fear is that tikatongo ita play along vakabvisa ED, tinenge extend the lifetime yeZANU-PF. But with ED at the helm, we stand a really good chance to actually oust ZANU-PF, whether as in an election or through other means. Hanzi na Vortex Media, pindai mega pasina geza, tuone kuti munozvigona here. My brother, we are not, that's not what we are saying. We are saying kuti Geza needs us to hit the streets, but we are not going to flood the streets pasina ma assurances. Kuti, how can they assure us they are not going to just play us again? Saka kana pasina Geza hatipinde mu streets, but kana Geza na Chiwenga vanoda kuti tipinde mu streets, they have to do something, make real changes that tinoona kuti they are serious, and make my changes that atinoona kuti yeah, these things cannot be undone easily after vabvisa ED. Thomas Lehman says certainly this is the mindset. Let's not get stuck in a mindset. Geza has made full admission Chabangu and Madunda colluded with Mnangagwa to destroy opposition and regain 2/3 majority. Let's move forward together against the regression and corruption. We are stronger together as one against Mnangagwa. Yes, exactly, my brother. All the power is in the hands of the people. Vana Mnangagwa, they only take advantage of the fact that a lot of people do not realize the power that is inherent in our numbers as citizens. And ndosaka vachida kuti vanhu vagare vari ignorant. Because once people know what their rights are, once people know the power they possess, vanozviziva kuti that's the end of them. Anziru Mugwe says Vageza apologized for what happened in 2017. He said ichi munhu wese. Yeah. Only problem is, can we really trust what any ZANU-PF member says? I mean, we've known them to be people who say what they need to say to get what they want, and they never really mean what they say. And I'm convinced that even Vanageza, they are just saying that to get us on their side, to get us to hit the streets so they can get their way. But they need to convince us. They need to convince us kuti they are serious this time, they should back their words with real action. Yatinoona. They have to do oh dear. They have to make some real changes. So sorry, ndikuita call iri kupinda. Yeah. I shall read a few more comments, then we can wind down. Oh yeah. Chief Madzoka. Chief Mambosose. Chief, you can speak. Ndaku Eda mu studio. So you can go ahead and speak if you wanted to say something. But in the meantime, I'll just read my comments. And as I said before, if you would like to join and make your submissions, TikTok is the easiest. If you just search for Change Radio on TikTok, you'll find we are live there right now. And you can request and come up to make your submissions. Thomas Lehman says, everyone knows Mnangagwa has failed Zim for 5 decades. Now it's a matter of letting go of ego and seeing nation. Choice Maguchu says, we are behind Geza. We don't need any assurances. ED has to go. All right, that's very interesting. But musazochema nesu zvakare kana Geza abviswa, ED abviswa, kwaiswa another ZANU-PF, and everything goes back to the looting as usual. Because trust me, I know a lot of people think that things can get worse than they are right now. But trust me, things can get a lot worse than they are. Simply because we don't have the backbone to stand up for our own rights. Truda kuti Geza atiitire. Tongopinda muroads. Tobvisirwa ED. But do you think vana Geza vari kuitira isisu? Kuti isisu tizobenefita? They are doing it for themselves. Nesuwo tinofanira kutozvimiririra. Tikasazvimiririra, tinongoshandiswa sezvinoitwa masupporters eZANU-PF. Right? Recently pana akavakirwa katangwena. Ivo vachivaka mansions, vachitengerana majet, vachitengerana mazimota. Mumwe ovakirwa katangwena. Ukaona vanhu vanotumwa kunonorova vanhu neZANU-PF kwavanogara zvavanenge vakapfeka. That's life. If you allow people to use you, they will use you and dump you. Sambofunga kuti conscience inovanetsa kuti takashandisa vanhu. The only way to get respect from ZANU-PF is to demand it. Those who demand respect will get that respect. Vana Geza vari kudemanda, they will get that respect. Isusu tikafunga kuti tinokwanisa kuhwanda naGeza and he will do everything for us. You have to know Geza is not doing anything for you and me. Geza ane ma-interests ake, ma-war veterans vane ma-interests avo avari kutodemanda. Nesuwo ngatitodemandai edu. If we don't demand our own interests, ndizvozvo zvinovharana. Those who are demanding will get what they are demanding. Isusu tongoshandiswa tozongokandwa uko sezvatakaitwa muna 2017. Thomas Lehman says 100% ZANU-PF back the words with reforms. Gacheni says Mnangagwa has destroyed everything. Hospitals are a disaster. Railway has crumbled. No roads and infrastructure whatsoever. True. Thomas Lehman says 100%. Okay, the same comment again. ZANU-PF needs to back the words with formal reforms. And Pepukai Kanero says, ED is not a problem alone. Thank you, my brother or my sister. You know what? We are very easily distracted. We're just looking at ED. ED problem ED is the whole of ZANU-PF. Kanatka visa ED. Hapana chatati taita. We still have a big problem on our hands. So anyway, Pepukai says ED is not a problem alone. The entire ZANU-PF is our problem as they capture judiciary, army, ZRP, CIO, headmen, chiefs, war vets, and ZEC, and many more. All those sectors need to be independent. So kubvisa ED, tinenge tichingozvinyepera hedu guys. Kubvisa ED hakuna chachinombochinja for the better. The only kukatongetika any change it will be for the worst, trust me. Gacheni says, I'm worried of US aid. Who is gonna fund the hospitals now? Yeah, that's the situation where we are at. Kuti, we the people have to do something. Tikamirira kuti someone is going to hold these people to account and force them to do what's right. We'll wait kushigira, till the cows come back home. They have already demonstrated over the 40 years kuti they have no will whatsoever to do what is right. Saka, I think enough is enough. It's time for us now to stand strong and see to it kuti zvatiri kuzvido zvedu zvaitwa, because they will never do zvido zvedu kana isusu tisiri kuvamanikidza one way or another. And right now we have this opportunity to put that pressure. They need us to flood the streets. So this is our opportunity also to make very stern demands kuti hapana, tangai matitra ichi neichi. Thomas Lehman says separation of power is needed. Courts can't collude with government. It fails all. Absolutely. We have this tragic situation in our country. And like I said, the only way out is for the citizens to let it be known that we are not allowing you to walk all over us anymore. That's the only way. Tikamirira kuti a handful of people should do that for us. All that will happen is they will either be silenced because it's easy to target a handful of people. Zvataurwa na chief kuti they will just target the ringleaders, or else then they will just bribe them. Tongo saratiri in the same situation or even worse. Saka zviri kutoda isusu ma-citizens kuti timire in our numbers. Tivazivise kuti their time is up. Hatichaita zvekutamba. We are not allowing them to get away with the kind of nonsense that they have been, that they have been doing for the last 40 years. My brothers and sisters, it's been a good 1.5 hours. It's been great communicating, reading your comments. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be back discussing the same topic because our ultimate goal is we want to hear from you, the citizens. It's important that your voice is heard if you as a citizen are to be respected. So we will be coming back regularly. And for those who would like to give their submissions verbally, I suggest that you join us on TikTok. It's easiest to join on TikTok, but alternatively, you can always send a message here on Facebook or on YouTube or on X, letting us know that you would like to give your submissions, and we'll send you a link. You can come into our studio and you can give your submissions. But allow me to wish you an absolutely blessed night, and looking forward to engaging you all again the next time we're coming to discuss this topic. Murare zvakanaka, muswere zvakanaka, wherever you are. It's a blessed day to you all from me and from my colleagues who unfortunately have dropped. See you next time.